What really happened on the Mosalla rooftop during Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral that left millions searching for answers? Why has the creepy coincidence captured on camera during Khamenei's funeral broken the internet and sparked endless speculation? Did Mojtaba Khamenei suddenly appear at the funeral? Or had he already been there in complete secrecy all along? Was the eerie figure seen during Ayatollah Khamenei's final farewell really Mojtaba, or just a moment that fooled an entire nation? An unexpected figure suddenly stole the spotlight as mourners gathered in huge numbers to bid farewell to Iran's late supreme leader. For several dramatic moments, many in the crowd believed Iran's elusive heir had finally stepped into public view before them. However, it was an Iranian cleric, not Mojtaba, whose striking resemblance triggered widespread speculation and confusion across the ceremony. Videos of Iranian cleric Reza Mousavi Vaz attending the Tehran funeral ceremony quickly went viral across multiple social media platforms. Mousavi Vaz left onlookers stunned throughout the ceremony because of his uncanny resemblance to Mojtaba Khamenei. The Iranian cleric appeared on the rooftop of Tehran's Mosalla, just as Mojtaba's name echoed through the gathering. Many attendees at the funeral ceremony reportedly became convinced that Mojtaba Khamenei himself had appeared before the mourning crowds. The cleric later released an Instagram video explaining exactly what sparked the shocking case of mistaken identity. The cleric said, and I quote, "The IRIB team asked me to come over and greet the people. We then walked to the rooftop location that has now gone viral across the internet. When we reached the rooftop and looked below, a group of little girls had gathered together and started waving at me. The moment I raised my hand to wave back, the entire crowd suddenly stood up believing it was the supreme leader." End quote. Iran's likely next supreme leader is now expected to skip his father Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral on July 9th amid mounting security concerns. This comes as reports claimed Iranian authorities foiled an alleged assassination plot targeting Mojtaba Khamenei. On July 2nd, Dr. Abdul Majid Hakim Elahi indicated that Mojtaba is unlikely to attend the main funeral ceremonies, preparing Iranians for an empty front row. Ali Khamenei's funeral rites will begin on July 4th, with the body later carried to Mashhad for burial on July 9th, in a tightly choreographed week of national grief. Elahi says it is security concerns that are keeping Mojtaba Khamenei from appearing in public, hinting that protection teams have vetoed his wish to face the crowds. His remarks come directly after fresh Israeli threats against Iran's new supreme leader, tying Mojtaba's absence to explicit talk of targeting him personally. Abdul Majid Hakim Elahi said, and I quote, "He wants to come out. He wants to meet people. But the security doesn't allow him. They said it is very dangerous, and we cannot provide security for him. I think he will not come out." Unquote. Earlier, Israel's defense minister Israel Katz declared that Mojtaba Khamenei was marked for death, a rare and blunt threat directed at Iran's top leadership. In return, Iran has warned that any further threats or attempts against its leaders will draw a direct response, treating such language as a red line in the new power struggle. Memorial services were held for Mojtaba Khamenei's wife months after she was reportedly killed during U.S.-Israeli strikes on Tehran. Images released by Iranian state media showed a memorial ceremony for Zahra Haddad Adel held in the Iranian capital. Iranian state media said family members, colleagues, and several senior Iranian figures attended the memorial service. Former Parliament Speaker Ghulam Ali Haddad Adel, who is Zahra Haddad Adel's father, was seen attending the ceremony. State media said the memorial service was held on July 1st at Tehran's Farhang School. Mojtaba Khamenei was not seen in any of the images released by Iranian state media from the memorial gathering. The memorial comes as Iran continues holding ceremonies to honor senior figures killed during the recent conflict. Emotions are already running at an all-time high across Iran, with growing public calls demanding revenge for Khamenei's death. What began as an orchestrated media storm from hardline outlets quickly hardened into explicit calls for revenge, with several state-aligned newspapers openly demanding retribution for the killing of the former supreme leader. Some Iranian outlets demanded that those responsible for Ali Khamenei's death be targeted, publishing lists of suspects and urging security services and militias to locate, pursue, and punish individuals blamed for the assassination. The calls for revenge came as Ali Khamenei's funeral ceremonies were underway in Tehran, turning mourning events into platforms for mobilizing public anger and pressuring authorities to promise swift and uncompromising retaliation. Ultra-conservative newspaper Asari Iranian ran the headline "Blood for Blood," using stark, emotive language to signal that retaliation was both an expected and uncompromising response to the leader's killing. The newspaper said retaliation is both a right of the people and a duty of officials, arguing that popular demands for vengeance and state obligations to defend the nation are mutually reinforcing justifications for punitive action. Another hardline publication, Nobonyad, asked why those responsible shouldn't be killed, framing extrajudicial retribution as a morally and politically defensible option in response to what it portrayed as an intolerable crime. Details of the calls for revenge were reported by Iran International on July 6, which documented headlines, editorials, and public reactions that together painted a picture of mounting pressure for violent reprisals. Meanwhile, IRGC-linked Fars News described the scenes at Khamenei's funeral processions in vivid terms, emphasizing chants, banners, and the atmosphere of collective anger that accompanied the state ceremonies. The IRGC news site claimed everyone was carrying red flags of revenge, portraying the displays as a unified, performative expression of national grief that simultaneously signaled a readiness for retaliation. Red flags used in Shiite symbolism are often associated with calls for vengeance, the report noted, explaining that the color and iconography historically evoke martyrdom and the demand for justice in ways that can be mobilized for contemporary political ends. Calls for revenge came as Iran continued state funeral rites for Khamenei across Tehran, with cities and institutions staging ceremonies that reinforced both mourning and the political narrative of justified retribution. Some Iranians are also reportedly offering plots of land in exchange for the deaths of Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Death threats against U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are intensifying across Iran during the mourning period. Tempers and emotions have reached a boiling point as thousands of mourners bid a final farewell to the late Ayatollah Khamenei. Chants of death to America and death to Israel have echoed across the streets of Iran's capital, Tehran, throughout the funeral procession. Posters depicting Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu as targets were also prominently displayed during the massive public rallies. Several banners referred to Trump and Netanyahu as dogs, while carrying inflammatory messages calling for violent retribution. Some Iranians are publicly offering parcels of land in exchange for the assassinations of Trump and Netanyahu. The announced reward was described as 100 plots of land, with each parcel measuring approximately 20 square meters.
In my view, we expect Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump to suffer more than this. There is still a lot left ahead. We have lost our leader. We have lost the greatest Islamic leader in the world. There is still a much harsher revenge waiting for them. I am certain of it.
It has not been taken. In my view, these bloody flags that have been raised mean that revenge for our leader must be taken. The actions we carried out, the war we fought, in my opinion, were not even sufficient as a response to the revenge for late Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. We must completely uproot them from the root so that, God willing, we can show the world what the oppression of our leader was and take revenge for our leaders, God willing.
Why don't we kill the one who killed my imam? It is a disgrace not to kill your murderer. From now on, we will wear a shroud instead of clothes. I swear by your blood, it's on us to murder Trump.
Posters carrying threats against U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were also spotted among the crowds. Anti-U.S. rhetoric has reached unprecedented levels, with mourners even burning an effigy of President Donald Trump during the ceremonies.